You see the polished press conferences. You see the perfectly edited highlight reels of guys running in shorts, smiling under the June sun. But what you don't see is the absolute desperation. Welcome to NFL Nexus. I'm your host, and today we're peeling back the curtain on the Houston Texans 2026 Minicamp to show you the brutal, unforgiving math of an NFL roster. Now, before we get deep into this explainer, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and drop a comment below with your thoughts as we go. Also, really consider becoming a channel member. Your support helps NFL Nexus keep taking you inside the rooms where professional football careers are either built or destroyed. All right, let's get into it.
The linebacker group is a really competitive group, probably the most competitive it's been in a while. Just listen to the gravity in that quote from head coach DeMeco Ryans. To a casual fan, mandatory minicamp in June, it's just like cardio. It's stretching before the real violence starts in July. But if you know this league, you know the reality is so much darker. Minicamp is a high-stakes, breathless job interview. When DeMeco Ryans publicly calls a group really competitive, he's not just praising them. He's sending a very clear, very cold message. He's telling these men that their livelihoods are officially on the line, and the margin for error is literally zero.
Projected out for the season. Look at those words. Let them sink in for a second. This isn't just a routine injury update scrolling at the bottom of your screen. This is a catastrophic shift in the Houston Texans' entire defensive identity. E.J. Speed suffered a torn quadriceps. And the thing is, Speed was the guy. He was supposed to be the undisputed LB3, the absolute linchpin rotational piece for this defense. Now, he's facing a grueling, agonizing rehabilitation process in the dark, and suddenly, the Texans are staring at a massive, gaping void in the middle of their defense.
And this right here, this is the ruthless, unfeeling math of the National Football League. On the left side of your screen, you had total certainty. You had the established veteran. You had E.J. Speed. But on the right, you have an absolute desperate scramble. Marte Mapu, Wade Woodose, Aiden Fisher, Jamal Hill. Look at those four names. Do not look at this as just some simple depth chart update. This is a high-stakes battle of attrition. Four grown men fighting for professional survival. They all know the math. Four guys, but only one man can claim the snaps E.J. Speed left behind. Only one survives.
Now, what's incredibly fascinating here is the micro-focus on one specific guy in that bloodbath, Jamal Hill. He is a converted defensive back. I mean, just think about the sheer physical and mental trauma of that transition, moving from playing safety out in open space down into the absolute meat grinder of an off-ball linebacker. DeMeco Ryans went out of his way to praise Hill this week. We already know he's a special teams standout, but Ryans is pushing him to the absolute brink, demanding to see if Hill can hold up on first, second, and third down. Every single rep he takes right now is an audition for his professional life.
Let's move on to Section 1, Trench Warfare.
Stare at this table for a moment, because it paints a perfect, almost cruel portrait of the disparity in the NFL. Look at right guard. Ed Ingram is locked in, untouchable. He just signed a massive, lucrative 3-year extension after grading out as a top 10 run blocker by Pro Football Focus. He's got absolute security, generational wealth, but then contrast his reality with the absolute chaos happening just inches away from him. Left guard Wyatt Teller is violently fighting just to keep his spot. You've got Keelan Rutledge, a rookie challenger bringing fresh blood and zero fear, and then Fibachi Nawawu lurking in the shadows as a dark horse. It's a literal war zone where men twice our size are fighting for inches.
To really understand this trench war, you have to understand the currency they are fighting for. First team reps. In June minicamp, this is pure, uncut gold. It's an incredibly fragile, fleeting opportunity that proves, for this specific microscopic moment in time, the coaching staff trusts you. And right now, free agent signee Evan Brown is absolutely stealing this currency. He's out there lining up next to the first-round rookie Keelan Rutledge, taking snaps with the starters. And let me tell you, when you steal first-team reps in June, you are painting a massive target on your own back. You are daring the veterans to come and try to take their livelihood back from you.
Which brings us to Section 2, the unlikely breakouts. 12. I want you to really look at that staggering number on the screen. 12 wide receivers are currently sitting in the Houston Texans meeting rooms. 12 guys who have trained their entire lives for this, who firmly believe they belong on an NFL field. But the cold, hard math of a 53-man roster doesn't care about their dreams. The reality? They might keep 6, maybe 7 if someone plays out of their mind on special teams. That means literally half the men sitting in that room right now are going to be handed their walking papers by the end of August.
And yet, out of that suffocatingly crowded room, a guy named Lewis Bond is forcing everyone to pay attention. He's a sixth-round draft pick. And let's be honest, usually in the NFL, a sixth-rounder is just a camp body, a guy holding a blocking pad. But Bond? He is violently tearing up that script. He's out there carving up veteran defensive backs with elite route running. He's emerging as this incredibly dangerous weapon in the slot, just making play after play with the second unit. This kid was an afterthought on draft day, and now he is actively positioning himself as the undisputed favorite to back up Jalen Noel.
The best-kept secret in the NFL. Think about the immense gravity of that statement. That's veteran Foster Moreau talking to the media. And he's not talking about some high-priced free agent acquisition. No, he's talking about the miraculous, almost unbelievable physical resurrection of tight end Brevin Jordan.
Let's just walk through this timeline, because it is agonizing. 2024, a season-ending knee injury, the dark, lonely isolation of the rehab room. Then 2025, another season-ending knee injury. Back to square one. 2 full years of his absolute physical prime just stolen by the injured reserve list. The mental toll of that is enough to break most men. But 2026, we are seeing a fully healthy, explosive minicamp breakout. He's back on the grass, operating as a lethal vertical threat. It is an incredibly triumphant, emotional return. But in the NFL, one man's triumph is always another man's downfall.
That brings us to Section 3, the rookie's tragedy. Let's look at the brutal hierarchy of this tight end room. Dalton Schultz is the unquestioned TE1. He's the guy. Foster Moreau is the heavy favorite for the TE2 spot. Cade Stover is out there fighting for his life on the roster bubble, and Brevin Jordan, as we just talked about, is the rising star. But then, visually isolate that name at the absolute bottom of the screen, Marlon Klein, a highly touted second-round draft pick who is currently standing on the sidelines in street clothes, forced to watch these other guys actively steal his livelihood.
A strained hamstring. You know, in everyday life, a strained hamstring means you walk a little funny for a week. But in an NFL minicamp, a microscopic tear in a muscle is a career-derailing nightmare. The enemy here isn't the pain. The enemy is lost time. For a rookie, missing practice means the coaching staff isn't seeing you. You aren't building chemistry. You aren't processing the playbook at game speed. Every single day Marlon Klein misses, his momentum dies a little bit more.
38. Anchor your attention to that tiny number. 38. That represents Marlon Klein's total career receptions over 3 full years at the University of Michigan.
This kid has massive, imposing physical potential. We're talking a 6'6" frame, 250 pounds of pure upside. But he is incredibly raw. He's a project. And the agonizing irony here is that to survive in the pro game, a player with Klein's profile desperately needs live repetitions. But his fragile hamstring is keeping him locked off the field right when he needs to be out there the most. Which forces us to ask a really grim question. Will Klein's window close before it ever even opens? I mean, the NFL is a ruthless machine. It does not pause to let you heal. While Klein is standing next to the trainers with a wrap on his leg, Brevin Jordan is out there catching touchdowns. Foster Moreau is burying defensive ends in the dirt. The train is leaving the station, and right now the second-round pick is watching it pull away.
Which brings us to our final section, the final cut.
Right now, we are existing in the era of non-contact optimism. Spring minicamp, no pads, everyone feels fast, everyone looks healthy, and hope is everywhere. But looming right over the horizon is the terrifying reality of July training camp. Make no mistake about it, heroes might be made in shorts during June, but careers are permanently ended when the pads come on and the real violence starts in July.
So when the dust finally settles, who actually survives cut-down day? Does Jamal Hill complete his grueling physical evolution? Does Lewis Bond defy the insane odds of a Day 3 draft pick? Can Brevin Jordan's knees actually hold up to the contact? And will Marlon Klein's body allow him to catch up before it's too late?
The immediate fallout of these micro-battles is going to alter the entire trajectory of this franchise. We're talking about the agonizing decisions of final roster limits. We're talking about the desperate scramble to stash guys on the practice squad before another team steals them. This is literal career survival. And hovering above all of this chaos are the championship aspirations of the Houston Texans. Make no mistake, Super Bowls aren't just won by the superstars. They are won on the razor-thin margins of depth being forged in these exact battles.
These storylines we're seeing in June, they are just the prologue. We've only seen the opening salvos of this fight.
The pads are coming, the hits are coming, and this war is far from over. You absolutely do not want to miss a single second of this fallout as it unfolds, so hit that subscribe button for NFL Nexus right now. Like this explainer and comment down below. Tell me exactly who you think is going to survive the final cut. And please become a channel member today so we can keep bringing you these high-stakes deep dive explainers week after week. Because as training camp gets closer, I leave you with this. Will these June superstars actually translate into January champions, or will the pads shatter the illusion entirely? The real season hasn't even started yet. I'll see you next time.